Hi there, this is the report of the first day of our real-time case study. I'm not gonna keep you waiting anymore. Let's go. Alright guys, so today we're gonna talk about business and Facebook ads audit. Obviously, we want to end up, improving the Facebook ads account, but first we gotta understand the business and its economics to really have the knowledge to leverage this business with Facebook ads. So I'm gonna showcase a little bit of, some bullets that are very key for you to understand when you run a Facebook ads when you run Facebook ads for anyone. So I don't know if your agency doesn't really ask you questions about those bullet points. I think you should be pretty worried about that. So obviously the first thing is what you're selling, the product. That's a very important thing because different products require different strategies, different offers, different type of creative, different type of copywriting, it's very difficult, it's very different to sell a house or to sell some type of, flower. The second thing, the audience. So knowing an audience in and out is very important especially for writing copy, right? Writing good copy is almost all the times based on how well you understand a certain audience. So again, really understanding someone's audience means a lot in your potential to helping that someone out. Third thing is price point. Obviously, there are a lot of factors here. Low ticket, high ticket, medium ticket. They really have different sales cycles, different strategies. Again, different, especially like retargeting strategies. When you go into a higher, longer sales cycle, you need to put a lot more effort into convincing someone to buy that certain product. Location is very important. Where do you sell this product? Is it worldwide? Is it a country? Is it international? Again, it's very important because you might get into trouble trying to advertise in language in a country that is not native in that language, right? Trying to advertise to Eastern Europe in English might not work that well. So sales channel, again, is it only their website? Is it Amazon? Do they don't even need a website? For example, real estate leads, you can just write lead gen forms directly on Facebook and you're going to get awesome results. You don't even need a sales channel for that. And traffic sources, again, obviously you're here for Facebook ads, but we love Google, organic, and ads as well. We love all types of traffic sources because even if we don't drive that traffic to their website, we can at least leverage their traffic through retargeting. So now I'm going to showcase those bullet points for the business that I'm going to try and really improve during those 2 weeks. All right, let's get straight into it. So the business is called Conqueror Challenges, and I'm going to link you the website. Take a look at it. It's a pretty simple concept. Just play with it. I'm just going to go straight here. I'm not going to waste your time. Product is a virtual challenge. All right. This might sound pretty strange. What does it mean? Again, check their website. I'm going to, try to describe it as fast as possible. So basically, someone wants to go and run the whole length for Route 66. That's over 2,000 miles, right? That's pretty hard. Like it might take even more than 1 year to do. So who's going to abandon their, everyday life to go to run on a highway for 1 year? Probably not a lot of people, right? But now modern day technology allows us to run inside our city, track, the runs that we do, and those runs through the app, through the Conqueror app, are going to basically count towards you running through a certain virtual challenge. So if you run 10 miles in your current city, those 10 miles are going to be equivalent in the Route 66 challenge that you just started. So again, if you want to understand more about this product, check their website. The audience obviously are runners, cyclists, and swimmers, right? Those are people that really like to get a challenge. Again, you can run or cycle the Route 66. Probably is impossible to swim it in under 2 years. I don't know, maybe Michael Phelps can do it, but we're not sure about that. So price point is between $30 and $60. Now, there are two pricing methods on their website. Now, one is a $30 if you want to get an entry to a challenge, and you'll also get a medal if you finish the challenge. And the $60 one is more expensive because you're also going to get an apparel, a hoodie or a t-shirt with the customized logo of the challenge that you're attending. Location for their audience is worldwide. Again, you can run whatever, or you can cycle wherever you want, and it's gonna, like, the distance that you run or cycle is gonna get logged towards the challenge that you pick, and anyone can do it anywhere. So that's why location is worldwide. Obviously, we saw that the majority of people are actually in UK and US, but the majority are in UK. But if things go well, I don't see why we shouldn't scale to worldwide, especially because it's an app, right? So we don't even need to really care about shipping at the beginning. Okay, sales channels, only their website is a pretty simple scenario in this case. And as traffic sources, we saw Facebook ads, Google ads, and Google organic. They're pretty equal in their share of traffic. Okay, so all of those three are important. We got to consider all three, even though we're going to focus mostly on Facebook ads during the next 2 weeks. So another very important thing, I would say the most important thing, is business economics, because at the end of the day, Facebook ads ends up just being a numbers game. So price per product is a very important thing that you need to understand. Profit margin per product is even more important, in my opinion. Break-even cost, the cost per acquisition, this really helps the advertiser or the media buyer know how much legroom he has with his campaigns, right? How much can he test? This helps him, really understanding if the client is happy with what's currently happening or not. Then we move into break-even ROAS. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just, another metric. People talk a lot about ROAS because, it's revenue. So we're going to talk about that as well. Repurchase rate is extremely important. And for this type of product, it's kind of hard for us to talk about it because the challenges, they take like more than 12 months, right? So it's pretty hard, but the repurchase rate is exceptionally high for the people that finish a challenge. Like, they finish a challenge, they get their medal, and they're extremely happy, and they just go and buy another challenge from there. But again, we're not going to really consider repurchase because, it takes a lot of time to buy your second product. And if you know about repurchase rate, you might be interested in lifetime value. Again, lifetime value is a very sensitive topic. It's pretty hard to, compute, but if you know it, it really helps because you can go for a higher cost per acquisition. You will basically base your cost per acquisition around your lifetime value, not around the average order, the client's first average order value, right? And that gives you a lot of leverage to really go long term on your strategy. Now, let's go ahead and discuss those economics metrics for our client. So, like I said, there are two prices: $30 for just an entry and a medal, and $60 if you add an apparel as well. And the profit margin are 68% for the first option and 50% for the second option. And again, if we remember, we need to compute the break-even cost per acquisition and the break-even ROAS. That gives us a lot of leverage as media buyers to really focus on improving the results, really focus on, getting where we need to get. It's basically our target. So I'm going to show you two very important formulas. You need to write those down. You need to really compute them for your business, because without them, it's pretty hard for you to know if you're doing well or not with your Facebook ads. All right. So here are the two formulas. Break-even CPA. You just multiply the price by the profit margin and your break-even ROAS. You just divide 1 by the profit margin and you're going to get the values. And here are the two values for our two products around, as you can see here, the CPA for the entry plus meta is around $20, and that's pretty high. We should be comfortable, getting clients cheaper than that. Break-even ROAS 1.47. So if the ROAS that we bring is below 1.47, that means that the business loses money on that client, at least for the first purchase that they do. And in the case of the entry, apparel, and metal, we have a ROAS of 2. That's even harder. And as I'm going to show you, unfortunately, this business hasn't really gone above those ROASs. So our target is to get it around 2 ROAS. I think the average sits around 1.3, so they haven't really found a lot of success with Facebook ads. But in my opinion, there's a lot of room for improvement. So if you want to see, this sad story turn into a very happy ending, stay tuned, because this is exactly what this is. They've even hired an agency and spent around $20,000 to turn around this product, but they couldn't. And we hope to do it a lot cheaper than that. So to start with, after we got that out of the way, business info, business economics, now we have a little bit of an idea what's happening with this business. We have to do some type of Facebook account audit. And the main objectives are pretty simple. You want to find some good audiences. You want to find, some winning ad angles. You want to find some lost opportunities. Most of the time, you're going to find people using, advice from 2015, like, really disabling certain placements, or, not using all the ad formats that are available to you. And if we find basically a ad set that had amazing results and had, 3 or 4 or 5 placements turned off, we know, there's a lot of room there. We can just take that ad set, add a little bit of improvement to it, and just turn on those, missing placements, and we have a lot more leg room to scale that, right? The same is about audiences. Like, why should I start from scratch testing audiences when there has already been like $40,000 worth of testing done with this account? I'm not going to waste the business money anymore. I'm going to look inside this account, find the audiences that showed some promise, and I'm going to use them to start my ads. Winning ad angles, this is like my favorite thing. Ad angles, in my opinion, are like 80% of the work that a Facebook advertiser has to do. Unfortunately, not a lot of people are into that. Not a lot of people are into working hard. They rather, use some type of media buying strategy, find some secret sauce where they can just, click one button and get a lot of get a lot of money. So the fourth is just, get a grasp of what they tried, right? This is very important. Obviously, you can't really go and take a look at every single ad set or every single ad, because that's going to take you like literally tens of hours in a big account. But just getting a grasp of what happened there is very important for your success, because you might really repeat the mistakes that a previous advertiser did, and that's pretty sad when you simply can't you simply can avoid that by just taking a closer look at what happened. So to do a Facebook ad account audit, I'm going to show you 3 techniques that are going to be pretty good at finding gold. I always love this stage where I take a new ad account and I'm smiling, because I know that just by applying a couple of very simple rules, I'm going to improve the performance by 20-30%. And that usually is, good enough to take an unprofitable ad account to make it run at least at break even. And once we run it at break even, we can leverage a lot of things like, data and things like that. So the 3 rules that I'm going to show you today, I'm going to, demonstrate those in a very short time, are: 1, filter the ad account by month and week, right? I'm just go back 1 year and just take a look at every single month, see kind of what they tried, see how they how seasonal is the business. Maybe they try something during Black Friday or during during the Christmas season. Again, this is a business where people, they want to challenge themselves, right? So usually this is a very good product for New Year's Eve, where a lot of people, they create their New Year resolution, and a lot of people might want to run, I don't know, 2,000 miles as their New Year resolution. So this is definitely a seasonal product, and filtering ad account by month and week helps you with that. Helps you with seeing different trends within that account. So what else we have here? Look for ad sets with a high amount spent and decent ROAS. Why? Well, high amount spent might mean that certain ad set had been profitable at the time, and probably over time its performance decreased. So that's why decent ROAS is good enough for me, because if we take that ad set and if we break it down by day, we're gonna find that at the beginning it probably was great ROAS, but then they simply didn't know how to scale that certain ad set, and it then ended up dying. And what you see today when you look at the lifetime is just the average value, right? But the average value is really impacted by the lack of scaling that ad set had to suffer at the end. So the ad set is capable of much better ROAS than what it shows. And the third one is find ad sets with the most purchases and break them down by placement. This comes back to what I said about finding loss opportunities in placements. You might find that they had an ad set that had a lot of purchase, right? And if it had a lot of purchase, probably was profitable, because they wouldn't simply keep a losing ad set, churn all that amount spent. So you take a look at it, and you break down by placement, and what you're going to see, again, you're going to see people only advertising on Facebook newsfeed. Nothing about Instagram, nothing about Marketplace. I know Audience Network is a fan favorite in hating it, but even that can bring you good results. So again, breaking down by placement is going to show you a lot of data. And another really cool thing that breaking down by placement does is it shows you a lost opportunity, not only in advertising in new placements if they didn't need before, but tailoring your ads to a new placement, because just using the same ad to different placements does not always grant the best results. What you want to do is tailor each ad towards a certain placement that's going to get you much better results. So again, this has two roles. I'm going to showcase both of those in the next slide. All right, so let's showcase the first technique, filtering the ad account by either month or week. This account has, around 2 or 3 years, and for that reason, I'm just going to go ahead and, do it for a month. But if your account is not that old, you might want to even go deeper and filter each week. So the idea is pretty simple. We go back in time, maybe 1 year or so, and take this month. And for this purpose, you will need a custom report as well. Just create something simple where you can see the most important metrics, right? The purchases, amount spent, ROAS, and purchase conversion value. And you go ahead and you sort those out and just go through each month, and very quickly, it's going to take like 10-15 minutes max. You're going to have a very good overview of what happened in its lifetime. It's much better to go and look each month, and for that purpose I even take all of this data and put it into an external spreadsheet. You can do this automatically, but doing it by hand is, in my opinion, more helpful for you to get a better grasp of that account's history. So that's the first technique. Again, another very cool thing about this is that if they had a campaign that ran for 3 months, if you sort by lifetime, if you take its lifetime value, you're only going to see the average result that campaign did, and that might hide from you a couple of interesting things. For example, maybe it did really well during the first month, and then it really dropped during the second and third month. And you might be able to take that same campaign that did well in the first month and avoid whatever caused that decline. So that's a very cool thing. Seeing each month, sorting by each month gives you this better clarity. So the second technique is to look for assets with a high amount spent and a good enough or decent ROAS. So how do you define both of those values? Like I say high amount spent. Well, that's pretty much you gotta think in terms of what's a big amount for your account. So right here we had, I think the maximum amount spent for an asset was around $1,500. So in that case, I would set the value around $200. And again, a decent ROAS would be a ROAS that is at least above the break-even for me. And the break-even, I'm going to set it up at 1.5 for this account. As you previously saw, it was 1.47 for the first product. So we're going to use that. Now, let me show you why you want to set, first of all, why you want to set that threshold for the amounts spent. The thing is, I've already built here a custom report where you can see the ROAS. If we just sort out the ROAS, you're going to see this amazing ROAS. We had like 33, 22, 14. But if you look at the amount spent, the amount spent is really low. So those are not really statistical, significant results. And we're going to basically filter all those low spend assets out, and you do that by coming here, filters, asset metrics, lifetime spent, and just add here your amount around 200 for me. And as you can see, all those were filtered out, and now we only have a list of assets that we're spending quite a lot of money for this account, and they also had some success. And now you would basically go and take a look at their audience, take a look at their creatives. That's a very good place to start when trying to recreate an account from scratch. Just get as much data as possible from its past. So this last technique is really great at finding lost opportunities when it comes to placements. What you want to do is sort by purchases, look at the assets with the most amount of purchases, and then break down by placement. Let's do it, and I'm going to show you why is this important. So we sort out by purchases. We don't care about any other filters, and let's actually select those top 5, and what you want to do is go here, break down by delivery and placement, and this is going to give us an example of what placements were used or what placements perform good for those assets. And as you can see here, we can already see that the one that performed, had a lot of purchases. It was only using newsfeed on mobile, so we see no Instagram. And why is this important? Well, most of the times what you see is advertisers are extremely lazy when they create their creatives, and they only optimize for a given platform. Like usually when you create the ad, it's going to preview as a newsfeed on Facebook, right? So it's not going to look as great on Instagram, it's not going to look as great on Messenger or any other type of story. And for that reason, they might think, oh my god, those ads are this ad performs worse on those placements, but that's not really the case. Like, you gotta tailor it first. Another really bad misconceptions that I see is some type of advice from 2015 where people, they don't use all of the placements, like they edit them. Alright guys, so that's a wrap for today. I hope those audit techniques were helpful to you. They will definitely be helpful to me to get an idea of what audience to use at the beginning, because we don't have that much of a budget. Our minimum budget for July will be $3,000. Tomorrow we're going to cover a totally different topic. It's tracking and analytics. Now you're going to see tracking is a very sensible thing when you go international, because our business manager account uses New Zealand dollars, and the customers, they buy either in US dollars or in pounds. So we're going to find a set of problems there, but more on that tomorrow. Okay guys, bye.